Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, is the Jotun Toten, the Vault Dwelling, the Disciple, my favorite co-host on the Citadel, Mr. Josh Finney.
Hi.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Corey.
How's it going?
Going great.
Well,
It's been a really long day, and I'm like deliriously hungry and tired right now. And I decided to solve that by having alcohol.
That's usually how that works. Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Good thing we brought your Wrangler.
Don't mind me.
out
I
there.
definitely bought 2 emotes in Fortnite a half an hour ago, so it's going good.
Yeah.
You're just a series of wise decisions happening this
I
year.
bought the Spider-Man jump is in the shop, and oh god, what was it? Oh, the other one is the band leader, and it's a dude marching with his knees like coming up to his chest with one of those batons and just like waving it around wildly.
Oh god.
I was like, it makes noise like a big band is with him too. So I was like, this is great. I have a big band emote in Destiny. I have one here. It's great. Great.
Well, Josh, we have a third person with us tonight.
We
We
do.
have
He's actually here when you are.
The build master.
Oh,
Say the master crafter. I don't know.
we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
Look, this is your first day. We gotta work on it. All right. So, you know him, you love him. A1Johnnny is here.
Hello. Thanks for having me back. Good to be on with you, Corey. Like
I know,
said.
because usually, when I'm out of town, I don't ever get to talk to you because Josh only has you on when, I'm gone.
We know he's afraid to have too many Titans on the show at the same time.
I know.
It's because I have to summon all my brain power. I have to, make sure that I can beat not one but 2 crayon eaters in leaps of logic.
Hey, you know what? Just avoid the orange ones. You'll be fine. Okay.
Just avoid the orange ones. God damn it.
Oh man. So
Oh, Jesus.
everybody, Destiny.
Destiny.
Is
Great
a game
game.
that we all play, I hear.
It's
Sometimes.
literally a video game.
It is. John, how's tightening it up? How are the builds coming?
Man, from Beyond Light to now, I keep finding new plateaus of how tanky us Titans can be in PvE. The stasis Titan getting the overshield and the damage resistance from the stasis crystals. I'm like, I feel unkillable. How can they top this? Then they literally gave us overshields every time we cast our barricade. Every 11 seconds, overshield on demand. I'm like, man, I've never felt tankier. How can they top this? I am literally unkillable with Lorelei Splendor and a Sunspot on the ground now. I cannot die.
So I'm really glad. I'm glad that we brought up how is tightening it up going, because John, we have you here to talk about builds, and we're going to get into our favorite weapons of the season for the bulk of the show instead of trying to do a massive TWAB and then do that on top of it.
Yeah.
To be fair, the massive TWAB is non-existent this week. So
yes, thank God we get to talk all about builds and weapons and shit like that. This is junior firing line over here.
Ooh.
John, I gotta ask you, what is your ideal go-to Super Titan stats, I guess you could say? Like what fragments are you using? Obviously you're using Lorelei Splendor.
Yeah.
Use big hammer, little hammers. Break it down for us. What does the unkillable Solar 3.0 Titan look like?
So a really, really neat thing about Lorelei Splendor, I mean, it was already good, but if you break down the 3 aspects for Solar Titan, you can get the big 2-handed slam as your melee. You could get sunspots, and then you could get roaring flames, which is every time you get an ability kill, your abilities do more damage, and it stacks 3 times.
Right.
So those are the 3 aspects you have to pick, and it's hard to knock one of those off, but you can kind of cheat and have all 3, because even if you don't have the aspects that make sunspots, Lorelei Splendor is going to give you sunspots. So with that helmet, you can effectively run all 3 aspects at once. So you run that. I've been actually playing a lot with Tommy's Matchbook.
Tommy's Matchbook. Now,
Yeah.
there's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, so after you fire about 15, 20 rounds, it breaks your shields and starts doing double damage, which if you have Lurley Splendor on, drops a sunspot at your feet, and you're completely at full health. And one of the new fragments that got unlocked from that weird killed 20 million nightmares is getting solar kills will extend the duration of restoration and radiance with
Yes.
so
Yes.
yeah, so I get radiant just with one hammer bonk. I get the restoration from the sunspot, and that just never goes away as long as I'm running around hip firing Tommy's matchbook at everything.
I gotta tell you guys, it's hilarious going through and doing a Nightfall with John, because every other kill I'm hearing bonk, bonk, bonk. And just in case you're wondering, he is actually physically saying the word bonk every time.
That doesn't surprise me.
I can't tell if I'm playing Destiny or Untitled Goose Game at times.
I'm telling you. I mean, but why wouldn't you?
Max and I are in the middle of having a conversation, talking about life and, hunter bullshit and stuff, and we just hear in the background bonk, 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 bonk. And you can hear from the back John's girlfriend going, "Oh my God." You just hear from the other room. This is like the third strike in a row that we've run where he's doing this in the Prison of Elders.
Wow.
But
look,
okay.
Look,
so,
you're just. Can you bonk, Josh? Though, as a hunter, what are you bonking?
I have limited throwing knives now, so kind of. And they make me radiant.
Throwing knives do not go bonk.
Kill. No, it's more of a stab, 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 stab. Long range stabs. It's really fun. That thing is like, I swear to God, it's like Hawkeye in the MCU. Like, you throw it so far off and it just still curves around and hits.
Yep.
Curve the bullet, like in my favorite James McAvoy film, Wanted. It's an Office deep cut for anyone who doesn't understand Creed Bratton. When they're talking about how to kill someone. Never mind. I had to ask about your Titan build, because I think I finally have settled on one for my hunter. I like Gunpowder Gamble, hear me out, but I really like having 2 more fragments instead.
Mm-hmm.
With my particular playstyle, Gunpowder Gamble was getting me killed because enemies can blow up. And I am not like the typical hunter. I like to run in and do things. I don't like to hang back. I am a hunter with a Titan mind. And that's not a good thing, because my solution is just, I can't reload my weapon. Stab, 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 stab. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. That's basically what I do. And I think I finally have settled on what I'm doing. So obviously I'm running On Your Mark and Knock 'em Down, which run great as the hunter aspects. My fragments, I'm going Ember of Torches, which your powered melee attacks make you and nearby allies radiant. Cool. My dodge does that also. Everyone is constantly radiant if they're playing with. Ember of Combustion. Final blows solar super cause targets to ignite. I'm running Blade Barrage, so obviously I want this on. They already cause you to blow up. That does it even more. You can wipe an entire team in the Crucible with that. Ember of Singeing. Class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. Running it with literally any solar weapon, you're going to have stacks of Scorch building. Ember of Beams has stronger target acquisition. Blade Barrage, guys, come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
That with the extra knives you have now.
Searing.
Yeah.
Scorch targets grants melee energy. It's throwing knives for days over here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna break out Aetheris's Embrace again, I think. I've been using I've been using Explosive Knife is what I've been using. Mm-hmm. Because you throw that and you get a precision hit on an orange bar, it's gone. It's done.
Yeah.
Even if they have a shield up, it's done. And that's basically what I did soloing the Sever mission this week. Everything that's not the actual boss, knife, 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 knife. I'm just gonna stay really far away because I can't heal. So.
And the main thing people use Atheris's Embrace for in PvP is just really cool trick shots with the precision knife. But that getting the unstoppable throwing knife that does more damage is. One, really easy to trigger, and 2, now that Titans finally have an exotic that lets us deal with champions with our abilities, it's very useful actually to just to free up a slot of you only need to bring one champion weapon, and now you can,
I think I like I mean, so Void is still really fun because that's the power fantasy.
Yeah.
That's the power fantasy super. Solar is really the first one where I feel like even if you didn't have, because I think a lot of our fun with Void 3.0 came from using the, oh my God, I'm completely blanking. Volatile rounds.
Yeah.
Volatile rounds, I think, really, God, can you imagine if Recluse and Non-Hunger were at the height of their power last season? That would have been wild. I really liked that power aspect of it, but it fucked up so many things I was trying to do at the same time. Because just explosions. No, I need to kill things with actual void weapons, and the subsequent explosions are not counting. This is terrible. But it was great for things like Royal Entry, especially.
Yeah.
I really liked it there with power weapons. With Solar, I feel like, because the immediate reaction of everybody was, aside from Hunters, was, man, this kind of sucks. This is really underwhelming. And it took a week or two for, some of our more prominent players to start coming up with build ideas for everybody else, and having to go pump the brakes and say, whoa, like, the healing fantasy kind of sucks for Warlocks, but Titans do not suck in any way, shape, or form, guys. Not even remotely. Like, you guys are actually pretty damn good.
I can't believe they still gave the Big Hammer a nether buff.
I'm just glad that I'm seeing Big Hammer and things now.
Yeah, me too.
Big Hammer is like all I've been using all season. It's so good.
It looks so stupid when you're just swinging in a circle, but I love it. I love it. And now you make sunspots when you do it, and it's just...
The first night that I cleared Duality, my first clear, the guy from the LFG that did it with me and Nerd, we were trying to two-man it. We were having a really rough time with the snipers, so we brought in a third. Good old Rudy Giuliani joined us. He came in with Big Hammer, and that's when I saw it for the first time. Like, holy shit, this dude just wiped all the ads out. He was like, you guys just figure out what symbols we need to grab and go to your platforms. I will kill everything else. And true to his word, he did. He had Kaido just chasing him around by the end. He was just taking loser laps around the area just because he could. He says the downside was he didn't have his super for boss DPS, but it didn't matter. DPS was never a problem with us. He was getting the stuns on the bells.
Yeah, there's so many ads in there.
Oh my God, it's much more manageable once you've done the encounter a few times.
Yeah,
man, initially, no, my friends, it is not.
That was actually the night I realized how strong Solar Titan was, because you joined me and Max to help just do the boss phase, and we needed to wipe. So I just walked into the center of the room in front of Kaido and stood there, and I was just laughing because they didn't, that whole room full of ads while I was 20 levels under the cap.
Mm-hmm.
Just couldn't kill me. I didn't have a rocket on or anything to kill myself, so it's anyways.
I want to shift the discussion a little bit because, of course, we have John here to talk about builds and to talk about weapons for the season. John has several weapons that I do not have that I would really like, and I have several weapons he does not have that he would like. And I think we have pretty close to ideal roles on all of these. I want to ask you, though, will you please break down for everybody the ideal... Callus Mini Tool is, like, hands down the weapon you need to get.
Yes.
With Incandescent.
Yeah, that's the chase weapon.
Why is this so good, and is this going to remain a good option after this season is over?
Yes. Even if you're not, I mean, obviously, like anything we've seen recently with like Headstone on stasis weapons, even if you're not on a stasis class, Headstone is still good. If you are on a stasis class, it synergizes with all your bells and whistles and everything. Incandescent's kind of the same way. It's still going to prime everyone for ad clear, for explosions. You kill that one guy and everyone around him is coated and scorched. So obviously, if you're on a solar class, you can take advantage of that. And like, I don't know who it was, some content creator I follow just posted with the Dawn Chorus helmet for Warlocks.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Praying Mantis. One of the little things that most anyone forgot about on this exotic, including me, whenever you apply a burn to a target, you get melee energy back. So you can do the cool new snap that they do. Kill one thing, they all explode and spread scorch, you get your melee back. It's just insanity. But I think Callus Mini Tools boosted handling, like when you read it, it has a unique frame like Drang and the BXR Battler. It has its own unique frame, so it provides more handling and more speed, and then it enhances if even further past that if you're running Mida. But we've gotten so many good SMGs. This is the first S tier solar SMG I can say we've gotten in quite a while. Death Adder was okay,
Death Adder was fine. It was never the recluse that people made it out to be. I think Funnel Web did a much better job at that.
Animation.
Same reload animation. It was a Vice SMG. And they're pretty distinct when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Funnel Web was the exact same way. Funnel Web had almost the exact perks though.
Yeah.
So
and they got to benefit from that Vice Stinger origin trait, which Death Adder does not.
Obviously, Death Adder doesn't have it. If Death Adder comes back though and has that perk, it's going to be a really good option. But yeah, this is probably the first, because Callus Mini Tool the first time around was kind of a joke.
Yeah,
it kind of sucked. I mean, all SMGs aside from Ikelos sucked.
Yeah, I remember getting that I didn't use it at all. At all.
Yeah. It was just that, and the Baroque Drang were just giving you a way to pair them with the exotics they're supposed to go to in a random rolled environment, because the original Mini Tool and Drang did not have randomly rolled perks. They didn't even have 2 perks, and they were still pretty underwhelming. And when Menagerie was around, I don't think anyone was grinding for a God roll Mini Tool.
No, Drang had its place, but that was mainly for PvP sweats.
Mm-hmm. Sidearms really are that way, and I'm glad they didn't buff sidearms. True
Vanguard made that argument that he's the guy that I go to for some of my Crucible stuff, but especially for sidearms.
Yeah, he's
the sidearm guy. I follow him. He's the sidearm guru. That's how I found out that I really liked using Last Hope and Bitter. What was it?
Oh, God.
Not Bitter. It was a primary one that I used a lot during Season of Dawn. Also, it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember it now. Anyways, not important.
Burst?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And now, of course, I can't remember it either. But
no,
either way,
either way, that thing was my baby. I'm upset that I can't use it to this day. But that's kind of where I fell in love with sidearms. I was running a primary sidearm in endgame activities because I just gotten so good with using that primary.
Breachlight.
Breachlight. There we go.
Deserves the respect. That
Breachlight absolutely deserves the respect. Still my all-time favorite primary sidearm. So with Callus Mini Tool out of the way, that's absolutely the one you want. You want Incandescent on this. Any other role, I don't have this as an S tier weapon. I have this in the Hall of Very Good. But getting Incandescent on this, just like with the Drang roll I'm going to talk about, elevates it up to that Hall of Fame status.
Yeah.
This is up there with OG Ikelos SMG. It's not Recluse is the retired. That's the all-time your top 10 list. We're talking fucking LeBron James and Kobe Bryant over here, right?
But I've been wondering, thinking back on all those Pinnacle weapons, were they that good just because all the other loot was so boring?
No, Recluse still holds up. I ran Recluse and Mountaintop being really toxic and Iron Banner. They still do the thing. Those two in particular still do the thing.
Yeah.
The others I would say have maybe Hush is the only other one that's held up, I think.
21% was still, I mean, LMGs were terrible then, and people still like to run 21%, mainly because Izanagi's Burden was there for boss damage.
We used it a lot. Yeah, we used it. We used it a lot in those early Master Nightfalls. I mean, in today's meta, I think every one of them has been eclipsed, except those two. I think will always be special. They had to be nerfed 5 times for God's sake.
And Sunset.
And Sunset, Sunsetting was literally introduced to solve the problem of 4 weapons, one of which they just brought back. So, with that, guys, let's go ahead. Let's dive into a couple of our favorite roles of the season. I asked John to show up with 4 or 5 of his favorites. I have a couple. Corey, I know you haven't been able to play as much as The
Yeah, but I still
absolute
have a couple. I still have a
time
couple.
sink that John and I have. Yeah, no. I want you to share your favorite things you've come across this season, and like, if it's not the ideal role that you have, what would the ideal role be that you would want? So
I mean
go ahead and go first, Corey.
the scout rifle I really like. Tears of Contrition.
Tears of Contrition, yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like how it shoots. I like how it handles.
Yeah, I agree.
I have auto loading holster and explosive payload is what I have on it.
I have got explosive payload and perpetual motion on mine.
Yeah, perpetual motion
is
like secretly one of the better perks, I think. I mean,
I think
free. Perpetual motion is especially good if you're doing either high-end content or if you're doing PvP.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, so we all saw it on the battle rifle when it came out, right? And that perk on a pulse is just god tier. I don't know if I like it so much with explosive payload. I'd rather get it with something like, I know it can't. Well, it could roll. Rapid hit goes in the second column. It could roll with that.
Or triple tap.
Motion rapid hit on this one. Go ahead. What?
I was about to say, or triple tap explosive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that the two perks work together very well. Is my problem. It is good in PvP. Like in momentum control, this thing is a one-hit kill. Mm-hmm. It's just an absolute tank if you get that headshot, 2 shots to the body. In everything else, it feels just a tad bit too slow, and that's because it's a 180 and not a 200. If this was a 200, it would permanently unseat Night Watch as my go-to kinetic scout.
180s and 150s really need some help, in my opinion. You know,
I don't think 180s need as much. There's just not very many of them to equate them against. I still like the Rock Hung Jury. Yeah. So if I'm gonna run a 200, or a 180, it's probably gonna be Hung Jury instead. And that's just because I mean I have rapid hit heating up on mine, so why wouldn't I want to run that? Actually, box breathing rapid hit. That's what I have on my adept one. Why would I want to run anything else?
Yeah, and you can put adept mods on it.
But tier, yeah, and you can put the adept mods on. I think that's what elevates it for me. Tiers, though, very good scout, though. I really recommend getting it. Just to have the explosive payload against champions is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I gravitated towards triple tap more than any other reason. When you need to sit there and consistently stun a champion over and over, triple tap is really good.
I believe triple tap rolls on this one, right?
Yeah,
I haven't been able to craft one yet. I've gotten no red borders of it.
One of my first rolls was triple tap 4th times the charm.
Oh, yeah, that'll do the thing.
Someone did the math. It's something, assuming you don't miss a headshot, it's effectively like 112 round magazine with those 2 perks.
Wow. Yeah, that's just, it's fucking wild. I love that gun. John, what is your first non-callus mini tool weapon to bring to the table?
Non-callus mini tool weapon. I'm gonna mess up the pronunciation here. The Lunalata 4B stasis bow.
The stasis bow. Okay, is this? This is not the Vanguard one, correct?
No, that's our first solar bow that isn't in Last Wish, and I'm excited for that, but I have not gotten a decent roll on it yet.
Okay. Hit me with this one. Hit me with this one.
Yeah, I've got Ensemble and Headstone. And this
also, I would say let us know where it drops from.
Okay, it's a world drop. This is one of
the world drop. Okay, it's one of the forge weapons. Got you.
Yeah, it's a Vice. It's a bow with the Vice Stinger perk.
Okay.
Which when I first saw that, I'm like, what? Is it just gonna magically knock another arrow there for me? But it clarifies. It just helps it reload faster when or knock faster when the Vice Stinger perk activates. And this is already of the high rate of fire bows. You know, it's not like a Point of the Stag. But headstone on a bow just feels so good. Just headshot icicle, headshot icicle, headshot icicle, just over and over and over.
That's how I feel about successful warm up on the Vanguard bow and Stride and Whistle.
Yeah.
I was really liking that. I'm not a big bow guy, but that was a lot of fun to be using.
Yeah.
I haven't found the right combo, but I know I want that as one of my 2 on it.
The Vanguard bow can roll incandescent, by the way.
Yes. I have unfortunately not gotten that after a full reset, and I'm really frustrated about it.
Neither have I.
I might just have to wait till next season and just do nothing but buy them from Zavala when he sells them. I'm not buying 15 servant leaders this season. What are you talking about?
But yeah, I play an absurd amount of Nightfalls, so I'm always looking for there's no bow champion mod this season, and that's fine. But when it comes back around, I have a stasis bow finally to take into content like that, and headstone on.
What kind of foundry perk does it have on it? Just out of curiosity.
The one I have is ensemble, so when I'm around other people, it reloads handles and aims faster, which is. Like I said, it's a fast bow. It's a speedy bow. It definitely leans into the Viced idea.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Like who the manufacturer was behind it.
Viced.
Okay, so it's got the Vice stinger on it.
Yep. Okay. And like I said,
God, dude, that makes it great.
Yeah, it's just
that
it's so
with Headstone
fast.
Alone, I think that's worth chasing.
Yeah. And of course, Banshee being the troll he did sold the Headstone roll day 2 of the season when no one's really looking at Banshee.
When nobody realized it. Yeah.
Yep. I was lucky enough to get a random one to drop with Ensemble and Headstone. But it's it can also run with successive warm up as well. So that with the Vice Stinger perk makes it's a fast fucking bow. So that's
that's why I like Stride and Whistle, because it's got the you can have Vanguard's Vindication on it, which I think is great for the high end content. My first pick that I'm going to bring in is I've talked about this weapon a little bit. I got to talk about it again. We mentioned guns that like should go up there in like that near God tier, like maybe not like top 10 players of all time, but when we talk like Bill Simmons, one of my, for a sports analogy, one of my all-time favorite podcasters, does this thing he does called the pyramid. His top 50 NBA players of all time, and he has different tiers of them. This, if I had to do it, this is like in that like 11 to 25 range, like your Dirk Nowitzki, your Kevin Garnett's, things like that. Unforgiven. It's the SMG that drops from the dungeon. I have fallen in love with this weapon immediately, and it's partially because of just this wild roll. It has a range of masterwork on, so it has a range of 65, an RPM of, it's the RPM of 750, so it's that good old Suros archetype that we like. It's got the ricochet rounds. It's got small bore. I can flip over to high caliber rounds though to increase my range even more. And then on top of that, it's got Adrenaline Junkie and Steady Hands.
Yeah.
That thing is a laser. That is a straight up laser.
Steady Hands is so good on SMGs.
God, dude, to make it even better, you have the Bitter Spite perk. And I didn't realize how good this was until the other day when you and me were doing the master run of Warden of Nothing and just kind of like messing around in there. Yeah. This is one of the weapons I was running. And Bitter Spite, for those who don't know or don't remember, is the perk on the dungeon weapons, on the 4 dungeon weapons. While this weapon is equipped, taking damage accelerates the next reload. Taking more damage increases the effect. My reload isn't, I mean, it's a 21, so it kind of like, I've thrown a reload, I've thrown some backup mags on, things like that. It's not that bad. But especially because as a hunter, I run Gambler's Dodge a lot.
Yeah.
Especially on my Void Lock, which I run in a lot, or not Void Lock, God, my Void Hunter that I run in a lot of high-end content. When I dodge, auto reloads my weapons.
Yeah.
So cool. I don't mind emptying this out because I'm getting a dodge back every 10 to 12 seconds. So I'm just dodging around, reloading my gun. As soon as the mag runs out, I'm done. I'm getting out of sight of the enemies, taking a loser lap if I need to. This gun is great for running.
You throw on volatile rounds on that, now you're cooking with fire, you know. Like
you're cooking with a lot of fire. I really wish this had come out. If this had come out last season, I think this would have eclipsed Funnel Web in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
900 RPMs are really hard for me to control. Recluse was great because you could just pull the trigger and you didn't even have to aim.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of why it was dumb. Even on
it was a stat monster.
It was a stat monster. It was the combination of all the perks. This feels like something that isn't probably going to be amazing unless you build into it. But when it's inside the context of that Void build that I have, and I'm already weakening people, and I'm just dumping 30 rounds of this weapon in, it feels great.
If I would have gotten a particular role on that, that would have definitely made my list. It and the new legendary trace rifle are the only two weapons in the game that roll a new perk that is escaping my mind the name of it. But basically, if you shoot a target that's affected by a void modifier, you get an overshield.
Mm-hmm.
So, throw smoke on a guy, shoot him with the SMG, overshield. Like it's
the one that I would really like for my class, as much as I like the two perks I have, I would really like to see what this can do with Golden Tricorn.
Yeah.
That's in the light GG notes. It's kind of a mixed bag in PvP. This overall gun is. I had a lot of success running it in Iron Banner.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, this is. I know I said I ran around trolling a little bit with Mountaintop and Recluse on my Warlock. But when I was trying to win matches, I was running this, and I was either running Tears of Contrition or I was running the new Pulse, which I'm going to get to here in a few minutes. The new Purpose.
Yeah.
The Stasis Pulse. I was running that a lot too. But I'm going to cede the floor. Corey, give us your next weapon.
So I ran the dungeon with some friends the other day. I got what is it called? I got New Purpose.
Okay.
The pulse rifle. It's
what'd you get on New Purpose?
I don't remember the role I got on New Purpose.
Okay.
But I just know that I like shooting it.
Yeah, it's the same archetype as the Messenger.
Yeah.
So I guess why a lot of us gravitated towards it right away.
Yeah.
Oh, is the Messenger any good? I hadn't heard.
Yeah, I mean it's still
right.
destroying me a year and a half later.
It's okay. It's fine. I have one.
It's great.
It's fine. But yeah, I mean,
what else did we get from the dungeon, Corey?
What else did we get from the dungeon? I got.
I'm waiting for you to say that you got the linear fusion so I can be mad at you.
I did not get the linear fusion.
Okay.
I got the machine gun, which is fine.
Oh, fixed odds.
Fixed
Okay.
odds. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fixed odds. It's
classic
it's fine.
menagerie weapon.
Yeah. That classic menagerie.
Hey, once upon a time, fixed odds was a very good LNG.
No, I'm saying.
And
There
now
weren't
you
a
get
whole lot of them, and
volatile.
it fired a little bit more deliberately than some of the others.
And now
I'm not-
volatile rounds and killing tally.
I'm not making fun of the weapon. I'm making fun of the menagerie itself.
Hey.
Oh, those fighting words for John.
Listen.
You're one of those people, huh, John?
He's gonna take
Yeah,
he's gonna take off his shoe.
I might be one of those people, Corey. I might be one of those people.
Mm.
Well,
John, it's been nice having you on the show today. Josh, the call dropped. I don't know what happened.
Oh man, what a shame. We've lost A1Johnnny.
But for the record, no, I don't think the menagerie was the best thing that ever happened to Destiny 2. I just really like Callus, and there was a lot of really good Callus stuff in that season.
That's fair.
Yeah,
We'll accept it.
not a good event though. Too many. Never mind. Yeah, that's all I got from the dungeon though. I've only run it once. I'm gonna run it again tomorrow with some friends, but
yeah. I'm hoping to get a few runs in this week. John and I got the first encounter down last weekend, and then the rest of my weekend fell apart. So
yeah, I like the dungeon though. I like the bell mechanic. I think it's interesting.
That's great.
Yeah,
it's great. Anything else special that you've gotten that you enjoy so far? Maybe out of the public event, out of your playlists.
I mean, not really. Nothing.
Do you have the Trials sidearm yet, Corey?
No, sorry. I do not.
I don't either, and I'm big sad about it.
I got
2
trials,
butt
though.
flaps and a chest piece from the little bit of trials I played last weekend.
Hey,
I need the monkey tail.
That armor set. It's not terrible for Titans. So,
No, it's not. I think the armor set's solid.
The monkey face, though, with
yeah.
the tail. Man.
Why did the hunters get the monkey?
I get them
like...
being monkeys, they're jumping around being little monkeys. Why didn't we get a bamboo set to come? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just let us be a gorilla. Where's the gorilla set? They've been trying to give it to us with the monster armor.
See,
set
I like to think
years.
that we're not. I like to think that it's not monkeys jumping around. I like to think of it as shotgun apes. So, well, okay. John and I will try to make this kind of quick then, I guess. John, hit me with your next weapon. Hit
All
me with
right,
your next recommendation.
My next weapon is almost cheating. Almost cheating. So don't kick me off the podcast yet. I do love it, but I need a different roll on it. But I'm the Lingering Dread grenade launcher from the dungeon.
Yeah, I want to say real quick on the subject of the 4 unique dungeon weapons. So not Epicurean and not Fixed Odds, even though those are both very good weapons. The 4 unique dungeon weapons are all outstanding. I think we're literally going to cover all 4 of them between our lists.
Yeah, it's great loot. It's great loot.
It's stupid. Stupid.
But that bitter spite perk that Josh was just talking about, where you reload faster when you're taking damage, so good on a breach loaded grenade launcher. Well,
that, and especially if you can put the grenade launcher loaders on, also that feeds into it.
Yep. And so it just feels good because of that. It looks amazing. I've got steady hands and multi-kill clip is the only roll I have. So yeah, exactly. It's not an ideal roll, but I still like playing with it. But this thing can roll blinding grenades, auto loading, and chill clip.
Isn't that the exact roll that Max got with us?
I don't want to talk about it.
I know he got chill clip on it, and we were both really mad at him and just quit.
But yeah, blinding grenades with chill clip, whatever isn't immediately frozen and dead is going to be blind and slowed. That's king shit. But I am having fun with it, even though I have a pretty mediocre roll. What's your next one, Josh?
My next one. Hang on. God, I made the mistake of switching tabs on accident. Corey took my scout rifle, which I was going to, and now Dim is of course frozen up. My next one is New Purpose. I really wanted to talk about this weapon tonight. If I can get back to it, there we go. So on New Purpose, I am running. I got a range master work on it, which always great news for a pulse.
Yeah.
Starting out before I've even upgraded it, it's already at a 74 range. And then I have Vorpal, Feeding Frenzy, and Armor Piercing rounds on this thing. I absolutely love this. I know that a lot of people don't really care for it in PvP. And I would have to agree with that. I like how Messenger feels just a little bit better, as well as the scope. The scope, actually, that may sound silly, that does matter to me.
Oh, yeah.
I think the scope for Messenger is better for PvP. This is definitely a PvE gun. But this thing can roll with Headstone, and it's great. I think that, unfortunately, with this weapon, you're going to be looking at it and Messenger going, man, both these can fill different niches. And I think Messenger is ultimately going to win out for a lot of people because you can if you have the Adept one, you can still put the Adept mods on.
Yeah.
But worth noting, Messenger, I believe Messenger got retired this season.
Yeah, Messenger and Shira's.
Yeah, those are now gone. This, for me, this is the best 340 in the game.
Yeah.
This is the one that you want. You want to go get this. I think that it's really good. It can, like I said, it can roll with Headstone. It really feeds into the power fantasy of the Stasis class in a lot of ways, especially if you're playing a Hunter. You start generating, just like I said with the Peace-Bond sidearm when we talked about it, when you start getting those ice crystals, you throw one of your shurikens, you're shattering them all in a row, or you're hitting the enemies next to them and shattering them. Like, you can take out waves and waves of enemies like this. If I just kind of a tiny bit too, I don't know what the firing necessarily, because it's still the same rate of fire as Messenger. The reload is what kills it for me in a lot of ways. But if you can get a reload masterwork on this, or again, like things like backup mag are great.
Yeah, rapid hit increases reload.
Rapid hits. I found myself using a pulse rifle loader on this. And when I did that, I noticed it was going a lot better. But I mean, Messenger is just like seamless.
Yeah,
it's
mine does this have one. This one can roll Desperado as well. Now the only third gun in the game that can get it, if that's what you want to do with it.
It's spicy. That's the one that I'm personally chasing. I did not realize it had that until John told me a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to go grind out for this. Everybody else is getting New Purpose, going, I can't believe I got this. Messenger is better, and I'm like, yes, I got New Purpose. Yes.
I was curious where they were gonna put it because
the pulse guy.
I was curious where they were going to put Desperado, because they changed Desperado. They did a little Passover on it in that gigantic 9,000 word TWAB. So I'm like, they wouldn't be doing that unless they're going to be putting it on more more weapons. So
Right. Well, John, let's go to your next one. I have a feeling I know 2 of your 3 remainings.
you'll probably be right, but I'm not sure if you're ready for this one. Hollow Denial, the new legendary.
Yeah, I was
trace
ready for
rifle.
that one. Okay, so I know 3 of 3 then. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the new legendary Void trace rifle. I've got it with heating up and killing tally.
I believe that's the exact one that I have as well. Nope, killing tally well-rounded is
Okay.
what I've got on one of mine. With the one that I've been liking, though, believe it or not, is the one with repulsor and adaptive munitions on it.
So that's actually the role I'm chasing. Killing tally is fun, but I feel like most of the time, since it can't run with something like subsistence, by the time I get up to killing tally times 3, I'm like almost out of ammo and have to reload. You know?
It kind of defeats the purpose. Like, it's fun to run around in the Castellum with it.
Yeah, it's cool that it's a
But
damage
for
perk that doesn't go
actual
away
stuff.
until you have to reload. But yeah, without some sort of, or even like slideways or something, some sort of perk to circumnavigate reloading, it's hard to really lean into killing tally. But if I can get repulsor on it, that would be that's the dream for me. But I am still having fun with this legendary trace rifle because I've always loved trace rifles, but it's kind of hard to commit to an exotic slot for it most of the time.
Yeah,
Unless
I
you're
agree. I do like that they're experimenting with more legendary trace rifles, though. It was something that when they did it in the 30th anniversary, we both said, this is great. This is really cool. Please don't immediately rush and throw trace rifles at us like crazy.
Yeah.
Because right now, the ones that we all had were really special. And I think that's what makes it really hard for me to go use a legendary one. Like you said, we like killing tally on it. I like adaptive munitions. That is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we liked golden tricorn on the 30th anniversary one. But
Yeah.
if I'm going to run a trace rifle, I'm probably running one out of necessity more than anything else. I'm probably running Divinity if I'm running one in endgame content. And that's just because they, a couple years in, they made the best support exotic they've ever made and ever will make. Just end. If there's a Destiny 3, they will not bring Divinity back. I can almost guarantee it.
Well, this season at least we have overload trace rifles, so that kind of at least to
it has been it has been fun. I like the trend of giving us a special weapon with one of those perks. That makes me very excited. I liked it. We all liked anti-barrier sniper.
Yeah.
Which GM's just a breeze that season.
God, when Anarchy was still good, bring Anarchy and a sniper and.
Back in my day when Anarchy was.
Let me tell you what, Sonny.
My third weapon is going to be. I got to decide what order I want to do these in. I'm gonna go with the news. I'm gonna go with the other new scout, the Staccato 46.
Spicy. It's got a spicy perk pool.
It's a spicy perk pool. It's a spicy choice, I think, because I think this one's going underneath a lot of people's radar. Of course, it's a 180, like we talked about, but it is solar, and this one can roll with incandescent, and that is what I have. Incandescent. I have well-rounded on this, which I'm really enjoying with the charged melees.
Josh, I'm a little jelly right now. I'm not gonna lie.
this has been fun. I wanna use the next time that momentum control comes up to go in and like really practice getting headshots with it.
Yeah.
For future activities, because all you have to do is just hit a target with your charged melee. You don't have to kill them. Yeah. So I almost want to use this in Nightfalls. I don't know if this is something I would take into a GM necessarily.
Maybe.
But I do think that this is a very good option.
Yeah. And it's a Suros weapon, so it's one of the few I would consider a perk I otherwise hate, compulsive reloader. I hate that perk, but with Suros energy, you shoot one round, and then whenever you're about to be in an engagement, you get that super fast reload, get Suros energy up. It's. Anyways.
Yeah, so just wanted to throw that out there. That's probably my favorite Foundry weapon that I've found so far this season. Wish it was craftable.
Yeah.
I think Foundry weapons should be craftable by default. Not that, you should automatically be able to, but they drop with red borders so much that those suckers should only require like 2-3 drops and then, go craft one.
And they have huge perk pools.
Huge perk pools, great perk pools in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Hit me with your number 4, John.
All right, we're getting spicy here. We're getting up into the elite of this season.
I hate you.
We're gonna go with Storm Chaser, the linear fusion from the dungeon. The first,
the new archetype too.
Yep.
The 3-burst.
Yep, our first 3-round burst fusion or linear fusion, and I somehow pleased the RNG gods because my first and only roll on it is rapid hit firing line.
That's all you need. That's all you need right there.
Yeah, and it's when I saw 3-round burst linear fusion, I was like, is this a gimmick? How is this going to work?
We were like, this is either going to be really good or it's going to suck.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Yep.
What did you do?
It's really good, ladies and gentlemen. This is a really good gun.
To answer your question, Corey, it's being a callous simp from the way back. That's what I did to get that roll. But yeah, no. After experimenting
lifetime investment
with it,
in knee pads.
After experimenting with it, it just does dummy damage, and especially with rapid hit. With the rapid hit on any pulse rifle feels so good because each individual bullet from that 3-round burst gives you a stack of rapid hit. So one shot from rapid hit, you're already, or from that weapon, you're already at ×3 rapid hit. So yeah, just super stable, super fast reloads. I mean, triple tap or something like that would be interesting too, but it reloads so fast and it has the bitter spite perk, so it's not really an issue. I know it can run clown cartridge too, but it just does so much damage. It feels cool. It's new and unique. It's got the cool swirly animated red bullshit that all the dungeon weapons have. I'm having a good old time with it. And man, when I went into a Legend Lost sector that had an arc burn, oh man, GG's, game over with that thing. That's the other thing, is it's an arc linear fusion. So we have Threaded Needle for Void. We have Reed's Regret for Stasis. We have I'm forgetting what it's called from the newest raid for Solar. Here's our arc. Now we are complete for all the burns.
Cataclysmic. That's what you're thinking.
Cataclysmic. Yes.
Cataclysmic. Was not a huge fan of it. Not a huge fan of that.
Really?
Yep. Not a big fan. If I'm going to use a solar one, I might as well just throw on Sleeper. So, my fourth, I said that I like sidearms a lot. I'm going to follow through with that. I'm going with Drang.
Tell me about Drang, Josh.
I really like that. I got incandescent and well-rounded on this with the accurized rounds.
You son of a
this thing is great. I got this. This was actually a red border that dropped, and I finished it. I was like, man, I don't even know if I'm going to bother getting the pattern for this. This is really
what I want.
I've got a 60 stability and 81 in handling. Yeah, this thing is wild, and it's got a reload masterwork on it on top of all of that. This is great. I really like this. The 2 excess perk is on this. We haven't really talked about this because we haven't talked about the opulent weapons yet. But final blows with this weapon, while your super skull grant a bonus to strength and discipline for a moderate duration. It's one of those that's really good for chronic super holders like me to be popping off and getting all those bonus the bonus stacks and the strength and discipline especially. So it's one of those that is really encouraging you to have good melee and grenade builds going.
Yeah, and this allows you to not have to have 100 strength or 100 discipline. It kind of lets you
because I typically let my discipline fall by the wayside. I'm so used to hunter grenades being bad that if I'm going to pick something, it's going to go down. Whereas as a hunter, I love to have my charged melee. I like having my knives, my smokes, things like that. Big fan. Excited to see what they do with Arc, my shurikens, etc. This just is an absolute monster with everything, though. You have this with the solar build I was talking about earlier, and you are you have knocked them down. You're popping off those headshots with this. Enemies are blowing up everywhere. Scorch is going everywhere. It's fun. People are gonna think you fired a Jotun off. Nope, it's like the pistol from Men in Black that he has. It's the only gun you'll ever need.
Yeah. And it it damn near has the range of a hand cannon in Crucible too. It's
Tommy Lee Jones practically came out of the computer to hand this to me myself, so I'm really excited about it. I like it a lot, though. John, hit us with that fifth and final weapon. I have a feeling I know what it's going to be, and if it's not what I think it is, I'm going to be severely disappointed in you.
Ostringer.
Yeah, there's literally nothing else. The fact that you didn't lead off with Ostringer is shocking.
Nope, this is my, maybe I messed up and did this in reverse. Ostringer is my number one. That's.
I don't think we weren't doing a power
A
rankings.
tiers
No.
list. Yeah.
No, if we were, if we were, then Unforgiven is absolutely my number one. But
no, I adore Ostringer. There are only 2 sunset weapons in my vault that I keep because they mean that much to me. And one is Saint 14 shotgun. The other one was my God rolled Ostringer from back in the day. So I'm still hunting for a new one that's good in PvP. I'm looking for like a rangefinder opening shot or rangefinder Eye of the Storm. But for PvE, I got a triple tap rampage, and it just feels like coming home. That was the hand cannon that I fell in love with in PvE because hand cannons have always been so PvP focused. That way back then when I got a subsistence rampage roll, I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. I killed 1 or 2 dregs, and after that I can almost one tap everything with ×3 rampage, and it's reloading itself. And I love the way it looks. I love the way it shoots. The stats are great. It's sticky. You know, that's part of the stats in the background that a lot of people don't pay attention to, I think. But it just it sticks to heads. It feels great.
Well, I'm gonna throw my last one out there. We throw out any honorable mentions afterwards. I feel like you still want to mention Beloved. Beloved is not mine. I don't know if you
I
know
didn't
this
want to have all 4 opulent weapons as my whole list. So
yeah, that's probably a good thing. I'm gonna go Nezarec's Whisper for my last one. I really like this from the moment that I picked it up. I'm glad that we have an Arc Glaive that is legendary. Because of course the 2 we got last season were Void and Solar. Very, very, very glad for this one though. I got this with Unstoppable Force and Impulse Amplifier.
Okay.
Unstoppable Force, for those who don't know, I know we're all still learning glaives. Blocking damage with your shield increases projectile damage for a short time. I really, really like this because this also rolled with an impact of 80 and a range of 49 with a range masterwork. So I'm very excited about this. Impulse Amplifier is what I run on my glaive as it is on my Void one. That with oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking out right now. It's right here. My Enigma's right here. Impulse Amplifier and Thresh is what I run on my Enigma. Very big fan of Nezarec's Whisper. I know that some people are like, well, that's just stupid. I really like it. I mainly like it because I'm very excited to see what I can craft around it with an Arc season.
Yeah.
With Arc 3.0. I'm kind of planning for the future, especially if it's going to be like that Javelin style super. If that becomes the new Hunter Arc staff, I want to be familiar with how things fire, how things block with shields, movement with it, etc. Like I want to start practicing.
That I don't begrudge anyone who completely forgets that you can block with a sword, but with the glaive,
it's almost essential with the glaive.
Yeah, 94% damage resistance. It's absurd. I can walk out into danger in a Grandmaster Nightfall, pop that shield, and get a res. It's very strong. But with that one that you have there, don't forget with the changes they made to glaives, the range will affect the speed of the projectile. So having a higher range makes so that with impulse, that's spicy.
That's one that I want to be able to craft one eventually because I want the enhanced perks of both those. Enhanced Impulse is one of the only enhanced perks worth it right now, and that's just stupid on glaives.
Yeah, and Adrenaline Junkie is actually a pretty good damage perk for a glaive.
Yeah, it's good. I have it on a lot of other things. I don't really build around Adrenaline Junkie as much as a perk.
Yeah.
I've never really had a reason to use it. Nobody has until recently. I already have it on the SMG. I don't want it on all my weapons. It's kind of like a specific thing. I wanted to back up the Ostringer a little bit because I've been using it a bit this season too. Because I've just gotten some stupid good rolls on this. I I got let me find this one that I was just a Rampage Outlaw,
Yep.
which I was liking, and then the one that I think I've fallen in love with is Zen Moment Triple Tap.
Ooh.
I've
That's
really
just
been liking that. It's got the range master work on it too, so been enjoying that. The high caliber rounds is on it, or I can
there you
throw on
go.
light mag. It's just been fantastic. I really like it. This is your space to throw out any shout outs to Beloved or Riptide. I feel like you've been holding those two in.
Yeah, those were two. I'm like, where do I put those in this list? I love them, but they're not better than Storm Chaser.
Honorable mentions.
Yeah. Riptide, obviously, I'm a fusion guy. So getting another archetype of stasis fusion that didn't exist yet, the rapid fire, I love. And thanks to the fact that Crucible is apparently bugged and Shax is only giving you Riptides.
Oh my god, dude, I'm so fucking tired of seeing this gun. If I never see it again, I'd be thrilled.
I love it, but my lord, I've deleted at least 50 of them.
What are you talking about, Riptide?
Riptide, yeah, from all the Iron Banner that Sean and I played 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I was wondering because I got quite a few. I was like, is something happening here?
I'm looking at my Warlock right now. I've got 5 on my Warlock between my person and the Postmaster. I've got 3 in my Vault. I've got 1 on my Hunter, 1 on my Titan. I cannot take any more Riptides. And what's funny is I actually have a really good roll on it. I just need to delete everything else.
Yeah.
So,
but it is good, and there are a lot of good perks both for PvE and PvP. Obviously, Beloved, it just feels so good. It just like Ostringer, it feels like coming home. That sniper just feels awesome, and it has incandescent, and
part of what I want to back up to Riptide real fast before we move on. I think part of what makes this really good is it's a stasis fusion, so it's in the primary slot. I got this thing to roll with chill clip and heating up, and man, with how fast this thing charges, it's got a range master work. It feels great. I really, really, really enjoy this gun. I need to get a little bit better with primary fusions.
Mm-hmm.
We got one last season with the raid one.
Yep.
And it never. It's gonna sound bad. That one never really clicked for me. That was also a stasis one, Deliverance, and I have a great roll on it. I've tapped the trigger heating up. I have a great roll on it. I just never really clicked for me, unfortunately.
It's the only raid weapon I have crafted, and I do have enhanced chill clip, enhanced perpetual motion on it. But again, it's. I feel like special weapons. I don't know how to put it. There's a mouth feel. There's just a thing like, does it feel good to you? Does this sniper feel good to you? Does the shotgun feel good to you? And that's different for every person.
I agree. Well, guys, do we have any more last minute thoughts on weapons from this season, on Solar 3.0 that we want to throw out there before we kind of shift into our questions? We have 2 questions tonight. We have one that I want John's take on from last week.
Okay. Can I give one exotic shout out to how insane Trespasser is in PvE and PvP?
Yes, absolutely. The only reason I have not been able to use Trespasser that much. I've liked what I've used.
Yeah.
Again, that's one of those, like, it's kind of just, it's in the wings waiting. When Arc 3.0 comes, I'm diving in full feet with it.
But yeah, it's once you get that first kill reload, it's insane. Until you miss, just just deletes everything, auto reloads, keeps that perk up. It's insanely good.
Well, John, last week.
Let me
go ahead.
I just want to say one thing. Like, am I the only person that's kind of like not as impressed with Solar 3.0 as I was with Void? Is that kind of the general?
No, that's a general thing, and I think a lot of it is people really weren't playing their Void classes all that much. Like, Titans have to throw on Bubble when they're in raids. That was just the default, but Titans weren't excited to be on Void for the most part. Same with Hunters. Once we got stuff like Divinity and other ways to apply debuffs, no one needed a tether.
Not only that, we launched ourselves off the map using it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would I
took a full year to shoot all 3 rounds of your multi-tether, So I feel like that's why Void felt so strong, is so many people, When's the last time you've asked any of your Warlock friends, "Oh, we bring a Nova Bomb," you know?
Warlock friends. Yeah.
My point
I don't
is
think
that
Corey has any of
no one
those.
was using Void, and then that completely turned it around, and we got the volatile rounds and all of the crazy synergies. But people were using Solar. People were bringing Celestial Nighthawks. People were running bottom tree hammers. Is one of the only classes I would bring into Grandmasters and stuff like that. That wasn't just a straight up Bubble Titan or Stasis. You know, that's how strong it was before the rework. Obviously, we all know what Radiance and Dawnblade were already the best in their respective arenas. So I feel like that's why Solar feels so underwhelming, is people were already using Solar. Solar was already pretty good.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah,
it
bottom
wasn't
three
like
Solar
coming
for a
home to
Titan
an
was
old
pretty
friend.
good.
I think a lot of us are going to be surprised by Arc.
Yeah.
Yeah. God,
Well, if you're not a
Titan
Titan,
Arc.
surprised by Arc.
No,
Return to the
Arc
Strike
needs-
Titan, baby. Fear it.
No.
It's coming. It's coming.
Give me my javelin. Just give me my javelin, man.
Oh my gosh. dude.
One-eyed mask.
Arc.
If that's not my super, then we were failed. We failed as a society. The question that we had last week, though, John, that I wanted to get your take on. We had somebody write in, and they were trying to do some stuff with mods. And they asked us, how do you tell if something is stackable? And I just kind of explained that, well, in the olden days, they used to tell you on the actual mod. And then upon further investigation, it was only written on the Rasputin mods. It's not on anything else. The general rule is you can put the mod on more than once, but you will only get 50% of the benefit.
Yeah. So if your hand cannon reloader gives you 50% more reloading and you put 2 of them on, you'll be at 75%.
Yeah. And keep in mind, the energy and things like that to expend. That's why most of us don't stack mods unless it is something like high energy fire. And even that is only for like day one raid where we need like as much firepower as possible to get through a DPS check.
A lot of the action mods in your 4th slot, like your Charged with Lights, your Elemental Wells, it will tell you at the bottom if
I investigated. It's literally only on the Warmind Cell mods.
Really? I could have sworn.
Yeah, that's why it bothered me. That's why it kind of threw me back when I was looking into this last week. So I wanted to make sure. Maybe my game was just messed up or whatever, but I looked through every single mod I own, and it only said it on Season of the Worthy mods.
And were you looking at that in game or in dim?
In game.
Weird, because I was just messing with the new Titan gauntlets that give you two throwing shields.
Mm-hmm.
I was specifically.
You appreciate how dumb that looks.
It's such a meme.
I love it. I love how campy it is.
It's such a meme, but it's really strong. But my point is I was looking through the Charged with Light stuff to abuse melee Wellmaker, and it does say that multiple copies of this mod increases the effect. But I don't know. That's a weird one. But yes, in theory, unless it explicitly states not to, or something they just expect you to know about, ammo scavengers specifically do not stack. Ammo scavs, no stack. Don't know why.
Ammo scavs, no stacky.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I know why it's for PvP. I don't know why it doesn't say it on the mod.
No idea. We're gonna shift over to questions for tonight. We're gonna do things a little bit out of order. We're gonna do this, then we'll shift over to Lore Corner before we get on out of here. But of course, first question, you know him, you love him. Andre wrote into us this week, really sent us in a video. We're gonna have to start retweeting these videos he sends us because he's putting more and more effort into them.
Yes. So, Andre, I know you're listening. If you could somehow Dropbox these videos to me so we can kind of feature them on our Twitter or our YouTube channel or something, that would be awesome.
He, John, for reference, Andre wrote into us last week and sent it to us from the Duality Dungeon from the Kaido fight.
I saw.
It was great. This week's is from Nessus, and it's an improvised skit where he's saying he's teaming up with Damage and Paul Tassi.
Yeah,
it was pretty great. But the gist of what Andre asked us this week is, guys, what is your favorite kinetic exotic weapon and why? And then what is your favorite ornament as well? John, I'm putting you on the spot. You're the guest. You get to go first.
All right. Favorite kinetic exotic weapon. There's at least 9 hand cannons floating around in my head. But I'm going to say right now in the current meta, it's got to be Outbreak Perfected. I think it's just so strong after all the changes and just where the meta's at right now.
Yeah.
For both single target damage and crowd.
I would say it doesn't have to be current meta. I would say like overall favorite exotic. 'Cause I know overall your favorite exotic is not Outbreak Perfected.
No, overall my favorite exotic is this here, Thorn. In all of Destiny, my favorite exotic is Thorn. So okay, if we're not, that'll
no, not current meta. Not current meta. Does not have to be current meta.
Thorn. We all know what a pain in the ass exotics were to get in Destiny 1. Yep. Thorn had a quest. a painful quest. A painful, torturous, arduous quest. But it had a quest, and I got it, and I fell in love with it. And then in Destiny 2, they went around and took an entire year to tell a good story about 2 hand cannons. And Thorn is one of those hand cannons, and I just adore it.
All right. And favorite ornament for an exotic primary. I'm going to say this doesn't have to be limited to the gun that you picked.
Okay. Absolutely the Hive Wither Horde ornament that they made, where it changes the front of it to like a glowing skull and it has the glowing Hive runes all around it.
That's exactly what's on my Wither Horde right now. That I was using with my Titan and Iron Banner. It's every time a Wither Horde ornament comes up, I buy it, and Chelsea's like, "Why are you getting that? You don't even use that gun." I was like, "No, stop it! They all look so good."
Sometimes an ornament's so good, you're like, "I'm gonna figure out how to bring this weapon back." The Izanagi's Burden ornament that looks like a giant Final Fantasy sword. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, I haven't used Izanagi's Burden in 2 years. I'm buying this ornament for money, and I will figure out how to make Izanagi's work. Damn it.
Yeah, that's just the most ridiculous ornament that I think I've ever seen in this game. Short of like giving me an actual toaster for Jotun. That's the most wild thing I think we've ever seen.
If they ever do that, they have to have a little power cord hanging off of it, floating in the wind. You know,
I would love to like if somebody sees you like in third person, like you're pulling on the cord to launch it. Corey, hit me with your favorite exotic primary, why it's your favorite, and your favorite exotic primary ornament.
Sweet business.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just kidding.
That is the most Titan-ass answer.
To be fair, though, in Leviathan Raid, that was like the meta, though, right?
Time and place.
Oh, that and Cold Heart, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, those weapons, man.
Cold Heart was a heavy weapon. Dark times.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I shouldn't say this, but Outbreak Perfected is like the best. I love that weapon so much. I love the way
you should never feel guilty for it. That is a beloved weapon across both games. 2 of the most memorable Destiny quests ever revolved around this weapon. Some of the best ornaments ever. Some of the best memories, and it's god tier. It is the best pulse rifle in the entire game.
Yeah, it's so good. And like I remember when we got Outbreak Prime in Wrath of the Machine raid, like us as a raid team figuring it out, and then the fact that it came back and had a equally cool mission.
0 Hour was awesome.
It was so cool. And like right now that I rarely take it off. I just unless I absolutely need to, like I rarely take it off. It's to the point where like I don't know what to use if I'm not using Outbreak Perfected sometimes. But also shout out to Chaperone.
Old Clapperone.
I hate you so much. You are like the antithesis of everything good in life right now.
I know.
Look, shotgun should be able to one-hit kill from 38 meters. It's fine. Yeah. Shut up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a slug. It's fine.
Corey, give me your favorite ornament for an exotic primary in the game.
Man, so I don't really like any of the Outbreak Perfected ornaments.
What? You don't like any of the? Oh my god!
No, I like the normal look of the gun.
Oh,
there.
I So there's a couple for multi-tool that I like, even though I haven't used multi-tool in like, I don't know, 5 years. That's like the Spec Ops one, the all black one with like the green dot sight is cool.
Yeah.
The Arctic camo one is cool. Let's see. I also really likes the wrap ornament for Dead Man's Tail is also a really cool ornament.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I guess for my pick, I was leaning Outbreak because of the memories associated with the gun. Trevor especially.
Oh no.
Why hasn't he been a nightmare? We've done nightmares like.
I mean, really though, really, if you had a nightmare for my hunter, it's either Trevor or it's Nerd Generalist's ass getting in the way of my Celestial Nighthawk. Those are the only two options. The
That
best
seems
I
like a
think was when
nightmare
we were
for
doing
him.
Vault one day, and he was standing at the front of the well, and Max and I are both crouched trying not to die behind John's shield, and Nerd jumps in front of not one but both of us as we fire our golden guns. And he's like, why didn't we do enough damage? We're like, you jumped in front of us. That's why.
Ass down during DPS. Anyway.
Ass down. Yeah, dude. Ass up, man. The hunters in the back need to see. I would say Dead Man's Tale is my pick here. It's such a cliche answer, and I don't feel good about it.
I don't think it's cliche. It hasn't even been in the game for a year.
I think that
it's already gone unless you buy it from Xur now.
How unique the gun is. I mean, when we first saw it, we're like, cowboy rifle. Tex Machina made a scout rifle? I was so excited to go get this thing. And then finding out that you got it at the end of the mission, just for doing the exotic mission, and how important that mission has now become retroactively to the entire storyline, with you discovering the Crown of Sorrow, discovering what happened to Catabasis. That was the first hint of what Callus would become. The story of Catabasis' ghost. You know, we read a lot of the Captain's Log last year on the
figuring out what to do with the Scorn as you vault the Tangled Shore.
The Aragorn. You know, we encountered Aragorn for the first time. You know, now that's a mechanic that we're using all the time. I'm very, very, very excited for this. I love where the story is going. I love that Dead Man's Tale is such an intricate part of that. And I think it's just so unique among guns. It's really as last word as a rifle in a lot of ways.
Tex Machina doesn't miss, man. It's they only make bangers.
In terms of my favorite ornament, though, for a primary, I'm going to Corey and I are going to swap places here. I'm going to say it's the Pandemic ornament for Outbreak Perfected.
That's the green and yellow one, right?
No, that might be. The one I'm thinking of, God, now I can't remember.
It's the one with
hold him back up.
It's like this gray cover for the entire gun. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it's this gray one with like pieces missing. Patient Zero.
Yeah.
Patient Zero. Chunks of it are missing. It looks like it's kind of like corroded from like nanites. I saw that the second I got Outbreak out of the mission. John and I had run it. I got it, and I says, that's it. I'm spending silver for the first time ever in this game. This thing is silver only. It started me down a dark path of microtransactions.
That's
John's exact words to me were, fuck it, take a shot and do it. So I took a shot and had to explain why I spent $8 for a skin on a gun. I'm still very happy.
The Eververse is your fault, Josh.
I have gotten the Trials ornament for this, which I feel like I can put on. I'm like Thor. I'm worthy of it now. I'm still worthy. I used it temporarily after I did go to the lighthouse using Outbreak for a few matches. A couple seasons ago, back when it wasn't very good.
I'm so baffled.
But I like the Matter Scourge. I like a lot of the ornaments for this gun. I just think it's so cool to map those patterns on, and it's the only exotic that I've ever sat there and looked at and gone, man, I'm actually really glad that I can't ruin this by putting shaders on. But yeah, one of my all-time favorite weapons. If I had to pick a different ornament, though, man, it has to be the Hive Runes. It has to be the Hive Runes on Witherwood.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got to be that one from Season of the Splicer. That's it. No, what is it? Bound in Sorrow or Whispers of Sorrow for Thorn is another really good one. There's two really good ones. The Bone one, then there's the Taken ornament.
Yeah.
Malfeasance has some great ones.
Hell, while we're on spooky, not technically Weapons of Sorrows, the Whisper of the Worm has some really banger ornaments.
We'll see. We're going to get to that, though, because Andre says this is the first in a series of questions that he has for us that are going to kind of follow this pattern.
Well, keep up the good work, because I did see that Nessus video today on Twitter on my lunch break, and good shit.
I enjoyed it a lot. Our second question, Corey, do we know who sent this to us on Instagram?
I do. Hold on. Let me whip it out.
I messaged you. I'm guessing that it didn't pop. I want to make sure we attribute this correctly, but I'm going to go ahead and read the questions while you're investigating that. We got a comment and then we got a question. Hey guys, just started a new episode. I know you probably get some hate mail for talking about hard topics like that, but I love that you guys do. I want to clarify, if we do get any, I've never seen it. So
I don't think we do.
I don't think we ever have. I think it's a really respectful community, and we've told you since day one who we are. Uncompromising. We're not going to be. We talk about human issues here. We talk about things that affect all of us. We're community, and I'm not going to be like, oh, we're a family here. No, we're people who play a video game. Okay. Scott Seiss is a great stand-up comedian he's the IKEA guy, and he has one. We're a family here. No, we're not. We're co-workers. This isn't a Vin Diesel movie. This isn't Fast $10 an hour. That's how I feel whenever I hear people say, we're a family in this game. No, we're a community. We come here. We have a podcast to hang out, chill, talk with each other. There are serious topics we want to get to. And it goes on to say, first heard your podcast, it was during the Me Too movement, I believe, and I said, fuck yeah, I like these guys, and became a fan. I know the news sucks and it's awful to talk about, but thanks for keeping strong and being outspoken. I got a long question, but it's a little bit of theory crafting, and I'm really glad we have John here for this one. We got hints at Callus returning and Rasputin coming back in Witch Queen and Season 16 lore, and now we actually got Callus back. We know the next season we are getting a reprised raid from Destiny 1, and we know that Bungie wants the returning raid to be tied to current events in Destiny 2. Everyone jumped on the wagon that Kingsfall was returning with Witch Queen. But if the next season is Rasputin themed, do you think it's more likely Wrath of the Machine comes back over Kingsfall?
I mean, as long
Corey,
as
do we have who this comes from?
This is from Jacob Brazale, I think. Brazzale. Sorry, I guess I didn't need to spell your name on the podcast.
Jacob, thank you so much for writing in with that. I love that we have John here to help me answer this, though. He may be the only other guy I know who, as soon as a lore page drops, we're immediately texting each other, being like, oh my god, did you see? Oh my god! We're usually playing the story mission together on Tuesdays, just freaking out. And I think that poor Amanda's over here just like, oh my god, you two need to calm down. We're like,
I'm just trying to get breakfast.
To answer your question, though, Jacob, I kind of started kicking this around last season thinking oh my god, are they going to pull a fast one on us? And I got to say, I think it's 50-50 right now, for me personally, because we do know a Rasputin's themed season is coming. But I think that if Siva were to return in some way, that would be more of a herald for Wrath of the Machine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My issue with Wrath is both of these raids are something that the D1 players have been begging for and asking for, and I do think Wrath comes to the game sooner rather than later. I want to be really clear about that. But I think a Siva season is still a ways off because there has to be a story reason for Siva to exist again. We kind of wrapped it up nice and neatly. Like a Rasputin season, sure, but I don't see Wrath of the Machine as being Rasputin adjacent. That is the story of, the Archons and things like that. With Kingsfall, I think Kingsfall is the more likely one to come back because they already subverted the expectations once with us not having Savathun as the raid boss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So give us it'll allow us to kind of recenter the plot line a little bit. But see, then again, I start going back on myself, and we're going to get into it in Lore Corner. I really think next season has to bring us back to the Mithrax plot line.
Yeah.
And we're overdue for a check-in on that. We know that the Splicers are aboard the Leviathan right now, helping Kaido's troops. It is truly a coalition between Zavala, Mithrax, Saint, Saladin, Kaido, Eris. Marasov, everyone's really coming together, like the last ditch remnants of all these factions to stand against the Witness. And I don't know. I think there could be a story way to bring this in, because eventually we're going to have to deal with what Immaru is up to. We never quite dealt with him.
Yeah.
Savathun she's not dead.
Nope.
Yeah.
She's gonna be rezzed. He can go res her at any time he wants. And guess what? We're keeping her body in the tower.
It's
Yep,
stupid
right there
idea.
for everybody.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey. It's not a stupid idea. It's no more or less stupid than building a portal to the Vex dimension or whatever right there
This is
on
the
the
tower. This is not Ripley's Believe It or Not, okay? We are not charging five silver a head to Fenchurch to see the wonders of the pyramid. Okay, that's not what this is. Like, we know that there is still a story to be told with the Throne World. But the reason the Throne World still exists is because it's tied to the light.
Yeah.
So I think inevitably we have to deal with the Dreadnought at some point. That is a big gaping hole there. And with them bringing the Leviathan back as a little patrol zone, there is absolutely nothing that prevents us from getting a section of the Dreadnought back and giving us one of the strikes back. Maybe there's nothing that prevents this. Like, it is wide open. And I want to cite Luke Smith's comments that he made in an interview. I apologize, I don't have the interview offhand. He gave this interview yesterday evening, and it got published this morning. I saw it, where he was talking about the new light experience and how when we get to the final shape, we really want to rev the engines on the new player experiencing it and make it accessible for everyone. We know there's a codename Goliath project that's coming. And that was the big thing that we saw in the GDC document, like right after final shape. I'm inching more and more towards the belief that that is the cloud solution for playing the entire Destiny story. And I think that's where you're going to get any remaining things that did not fit into the storyline are going to be brought forward.
Mm-hmm.
We're currently missing 3 raids. And if they keep with the pattern, I do think we're going to get the reprised raids are going to be here. I think they're going to have to shy away from Crota, partially because I believe the moon's getting vaulted with Lightfall. So why bring Crota back for like 6 months? And that's foolishness.
Yeah, but they brought Vault back and Venus doesn't exist.
That's true. They did do it within its own little sphere.
We saw
I think that would be
maps
really
on Titan, you know.
I just think it would be really silly to bring it back and be like, hey guys, you're still going to the moon, but we vaulted the moon. That would be a little silly. Just saying. I don't like the idea of that. Part of it is I really want King's Fall back. But I think the story to like rationalize like, oh, if Immaru is messing around, maybe we have to go back to the Dreadnought to stop it because he's trying to rally some ghosts to see if they can res Oryx.
Oh, God.
You know, there's nothing that says that doesn't happen, and it wouldn't be the first time we stopped a ritual to bring Oryx back. That's what the Pit of Heresy is about.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, Jacob, I do think that it is King's Fall over Wrath, but I'm only like 60-40. I'm no longer like this is 80-20 like I was at the end of last season.
Yeah, and before we got the reveal of what the season was going to be about, I would have placed money that the new dungeon was going to be about finding Rasputin. Josh probably remembers better than I do, but there was lore last season about Anna talking or having the mind flayers like try to find Rasputin's mind and talking about some facility, some place that even Ikora's Hidden had no idea existed. So I think that was my guess, was that this season that's what the dungeon was going to be, was us helping reboot Rasputin, basically.
Yeah, I think that has to be the subject of a dungeon. I
Yeah.
don't think that's something you just do in a story mission. That would be dumb for that to be thrown away like that. But I don't think it needs to be a raid either.
Yeah.
So maybe
a
the
special mission like Dead Man's Tale.
Yeah, that's what I was going on. I could definitely see a special kind of mission, or like maybe like part A and part B mission or something. It's like that.
But that could definitely be the dungeon we're getting in season 19, you know?
True. Fair.
I would say one more piece of evidence that kind of leads me to believe that Wrath is not coming back is the fact that we got the raid exotic that was tied to it already in Outbreak Perfected.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the most damning piece of evidence for me, is that we already have Outbreak Perfected.
I mean,
If we
unless
didn't
you want to
have
give
that-
people who didn't get it another way to get it besides buying it.
I think that would cause a low key like a riot in the tower around Zavala. We would be throwing Zavala from the tower at that point. I think.
Whoa,
as a
Zavala
community.
didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
No, but he can just Thunder Eat back up, and Luke Smith can take over his body temporarily for Lance Reddick. I think that would cause a lot of problems in the community, because that is a gun that was readily available for years. If you went and did 0 hour, yes, it was difficult to get, but it was not that hard to do with an LFG or to find people who could shepherd you through it. And now going and getting it from the kiosk, it's hands down one of like the 3 or 4 best weapons you can buy out of the kiosk. I think that would. I don't know. I guess part of this is me like being kind of a brat about it. I would be personally annoyed. Yeah. Maybe if there wasn't like a masterwork for it already. Oh, you could go into masterwork from doing the raid. Like, okay.
No, they have to make a new exotic or pick something.
And they made it very. I believe they've made it clear that the only existing Siva that we still have that has not been destroyed, either in the heist on the tower or by us in the raid, is stored away on one of the Exodus. The Exodus Black on Nessus, I believe, has samples of Siva. All the others have been destroyed, but I do believe that is the one colony ship that had some, according to the old lore. And I have, our gun has it. Yes, John.
Exotic Siva Glaive. Just blew your mind.
I'll take it.
I'd be okay with that, but John, here's my problem with that though. How would the Fallen from Destiny 1, because we have to remember that's when this takes place. Like Vault of Glass is different. That takes place outside of time and space. That is a recurring fight, is us fighting Atheon. This though, you'd be fighting the Archons again, and the glaive is a relic of Rulk. That's a relic of his people. That's
humans had glaives.
Not in Destiny 1 we didn't, so I'm sticking with it. And I do think that genuinely, I think doing a Siva weapon that doesn't fire in like a particle, the one I will make I would make an exception for would be a Siva trace rifle. Because I think that would logically make the most sense after the pulse.
Straight beam.
That would have to be an exotic.
That's making me feel some sort of way, Josh.
But I'd almost like for that to be like, I don't know, like a Rasputin. I feel like if we did a Rasputin season, we would get a new glaive, but it would be similar to the javelins we used on Mars. Give us some of those types of effects or something. Either way, though, let vote on it. I still think it's King's Fall, but it's not definitely not as sure as it once was. John?
It better be King's Fall, just because I really want to play King's Fall and I never got to in D1.
Corey, I feel like I know your vote right off the bat.
I mean, yeah.
It's King's Fall. If you've ever listened to our raid rankings, it's King's Fall, people.
I want King's Fall. I wouldn't say no to Wrath, but also as long as it's not Leviathan, which some people are saying, I would just
it makes sense because they brought back the space.
Yeah.
But I think Bungie has to know people would literally real life would turn into the subreddit if next season's returning raid was Leviathan or Crown of Sorrow or Spire or they can bring them back at some point, and I wish they would because I miss them. But no, after 2 years of, hey, you're going to get Vault of Glass next year, and the year after that, you're going to get another beloved returning raid, and they show up with
beloved. Beloved does not necessarily invoke
I'm pretty sure
Leviathan.
They fit the D1.
The only raid, I mean, none of the raids that were vaulted are, in my opinion, beloved.
Yeah.
You got 4 Leviathan, 2 Leviathan raids, 2 raid layers, which if they ever brought those back, I think would be dungeons. I think that's fair to say.
Mm-hmm.
Just change mechanics up a little bit. And then Scourge the Past? Who really wants Scourge the Past back? Let's be honest. Like, yeah, it was fun, but we've had other heists now. And we've had better stories told.
I just think like King's Fall is the grandest, the It's definitely the most challenging raid I think I've ever done. Like it's just.
I mean, you were using the Destiny 1 mechanics too on top of that.
Yeah.
Like that was before, like that was after Gallarhorn got nerfed. Like we were sitting there using LMGs and snipers against a god.
Right.
So yeah. So King's Fall, but definitely it's not as certain as we have been. I am definitely closer to the 50-50 mark than I've ever been. I'm still gonna say like 65-25, maybe 65-35. However the math, that's 65-35 is probably where I fall. I would need to see some more lore developments this season though to convince me that we're going to get Rasputin immediately.
I feel like another big indicator is there'd be Rasputin or Siva things in the Eververse. I know like they like to.
I mean, there's been plenty of Siva things. I think that your biggest indicator would be it would need to be closer to an expansion because us firing up Rasputin, I feel, would be like a year-ending event on the level of the Exorcism. It would be something we would be building to. And I think that if we go to like our lowest during Lightfall, like say the tower gets destroyed, okay, like we've theorized. Mm-hmm. Let's say that one of our first steps after saving our people, obviously, is okay. We're scattered. We're in Dead Orbit's fleet now. We have to power up Rasputin. The Witness uncovered Mars. Let's go back to the Braytech facility. Let's fire up Rasputin again. You know, Anna's gonna go there and be like surrounded by the Hidden or something
let's do one last round of escalation protocol just to feel something.
Oh my. Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on. We're going to Lore Corner, guys.
Lore Corner.
That's not me being glib either. I just looked at the time. We are definitely moving to Lore Corner. We had fun with the questions, but we're gonna do one Lore Corner. We're gonna save the others. The API is not updating, so I'm not able to do the ones that I've been wanting to do, and it's really frustrating me. Yeah. I'm gonna have to just start like taking screenshots in game and saving them to my laptop so that I can read from them, because otherwise we're gonna be waiting for weeks and weeks. And it's just we're 4 or 5 weeks into the season. It's not acceptable anymore. When I unlocked something 3 weeks ago and I still can't read it off the API. This comes from the Phantasmal Shell in the Season Pass, though. Mithrax repeats the mantra. Oh, I guess I should give you the flavor text on it. The light provides. Mithrax, the little epigraph there at the top. Mithrax repeats the mantra to himself as he makes his way across the helm. It was not long ago that this wing housed the servitor that sustained the House of Light and aided the Vanguard in stopping the Endless Night. But now, something altogether lurks within these walls. As he descends the stairs into the hangar bay, he sees it for the first time. The crown of sorrow, large and grotesque, seated ominously in the spot the servitor once occupied. That is when he hears the voices. Mithrax. They hiss in union. Out of the corner of his eyes, he sees their shadows skittering along the walls and ceiling. Dregs, vandals, faces he vaguely recognizes, names he barely knew or never learned. The light provides. Even in his own mind, his voice sounds somehow smaller. Kell of Death. Kell of Light, Captain of Death. They swarm toward him now, phantasmal ether bleeding from wounds he inflicted in another life. We remember what you did. We remember who you are. The light provides, he tells himself as a shiver runs down his back. The light provides. The light. Mithrax? He spins around. Splicer gauntlet poised to strike. Only when he sees Crow standing at the wing's entrance does he lower it. What's going on, the hunter asks. It is nothing. Mithrax lies. The voices are silent, their shadows gone, but not forgotten. Excuse me. He pushes past Crow without another word, desperate to leave the past behind. It makes a lot of sense that we had to do Keitel this season. She's gonna be the last person. She's obviously in the key art of the season, and with Callus coming back, we have to have her there. But we've had increasing, and when I say that we've had increasing references in the Lord of the Splicers, it's stuff that I can't read because it's locked behind the API. But it is stuff that we've been able to read, and this ragtag group, and Mithrax has kind of been MIA ever since we ended the Endless Night, really tending to his people. There's some stuff in there this season about, recommending that Saint go down and, see Mithrax, see if Mithrax needs help to get his mind off Osiris. We're really overdue for a Mithrax season here, and I do think that the Splicers are going to be a pretty key part of getting Rasputin back up and running. their tech, their things like that. Maybe the Cabal help a little bit with reinforcing, providing security, possibly. But I think it's interesting that, as we read with Ikora on the Trespasser sidearm, the Nightmares are not limited to just Crow, Zavala, and Keitel. We're now seeing Ikora's had them. Mithrax has dealt with them. I imagine Amanda Holiday is going to have a piece of lore at some point. I'd love to know what happens when Saladin goes in there. You know,
I don't think anyone wants to see Saladin go anywhere. I'm pretty sure Saladin's not allowed to go to the moon with his Nightmares.
Well, I mean, so as it says here, though, the Nightmares are appearing when you approach the Crown of Sorrow, when you go into that old Elixir lane. And I think that's a pretty big deal. I think that this is probably our biggest evidence for this. And then there's one describing a Splicer and Hidden Strike team that boards the Leviathan to breach it. Splicers are breaching into it and whatnot while they're on there. So I think there's a little bit more to be done with that, with the Splicer storyline coming up. And if you were to do it, I would think it would be in Rasputin. We already know Anna has, like, I don't know, put on her VR goggles and dove into Rasputin's Ingram. So I think it's only a matter of time until we do something wacky like that with some new contraption that Mithrax's best friends want to put on our arms. Not scared at all about seeing Tron 3, but we can always point to the lore of the season, I think, to point us ahead. And this being in the season pass, I think this is something that they want a lot of people to see. This is a shell that a lot of people are going to use. You go and you read this, compared to the Sparrow that you get, though, which is Marcus Wren is seeing Nightmares. The Sparrow Racing champ is seeing Nightmares. So, like, everyone is kind of seeing them as a result of the ritual that Eris has done. This has gone spectacularly wrong in all the worst ways, and I just can't wait to have to load that up with the Crown of Sorrow up with all my bobbleheads that I've collected and launch it into space.
Yeah, let's say, didn't they mention that section of the helm is detachable? Like, they can just yeet that thing if we're getting bad.
That's why the tomb ship is there, is to throw the Crown of Sorrow into it and just yeet it off.
I gotta say,
that is just wild.
As a plan for a whole season, let's Ghostbusters style collect Nightmares and dump them into the Crown of Sorrow. Probably not our best plan.
Probably not the best plan. And also, on top of that, have you noticed that there are Aragorn spores floating around the entire helm, and they have been increasing?
And in case, I mean, Josh, you may have some lore tidbits prove me wrong. That's my theory on how Callus is becoming like one with the Leviathan, is through that spore system, right?
Yep.
So that's probably not great. Again, Callus, I love you. You fucking up right now, though.
Okay, we're done with Lore Corner. I have to actually interrupt with something that came up on my screen like 20 minutes ago, and I've been trying not to run and dance around because I'm a professional and I have a show to do. With us winding down, a Game of Thrones sequel series has officially been greenlit tonight, with Kit Harington returning as Jon Snow. And this is this is the greatest possible timeline for me. So I swear to God, George R.R. Martin must have watched the ending of this and gone to HBO and been, okay, fine, I'll do it myself. And knowing he's never going to finish Winds of Winter or A Dream of Spring, I'm going to give us the ending that Jon Snow deserved. And if it doesn't end with him hurling Bran Stark out of a window, we have been cheated. I'm just saying. This is glorious. I love this. I'm here. Wow. This is the only Game of Thrones spinoff I ever wanted. I wanted to see Jon as the true king in the North. I'm here for it. It can be 8 hours of him and Tormund seducing wildling bartenders for all I care, and I'll be here for it.
But Josh, you just blew my mind without asking permission first. I thought we were talking about Destiny. Okay, that's. I have so many thoughts that will take some time to.
Yes, but I wanted to share that tidbit. I have been if anybody's watching the video, has been noticing me staring at my computer. It's because literally everybody that I know is currently either messaging me about Warriors Celtics Game 6 right now, or about this. And listen. There are few fantasy things that I love in this life more than the Game of Thrones books. So, let me tell you something. As somebody who's excited for House of the Dragon, this is like the best thing you can tell me on a Thursday night.
Wow.
Short of King's Fall is shadow dropping tomorrow afternoon. Corey, get us out of here. Get us out of here. I'm becoming unhinged.
Anyways, well, Josh, I'm happy for you and Jon Snow and whatever else.
Jon Snow.
He's not McQueen Davos.
I don't understand
She's
any of this.
McQueen.
Oh my gosh, get me out of here. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode of Tower Casuals. A1Johnnny, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Anytime.
You should come back more often. Where can we find you on the internet?
On Twitter as at A1Johnnny. I don't know how to promote myself because I don't do things online.
Well,
but,
you just did, so good
boom.
job, I guess.
Nailed it.
Josh, where can we find you?
Twitter, at Josh_Finn. As always, 2 N's, baby. We are coming up on episode 100 also. So I want to put out the call again. Your favorite Destiny memories, your favorite Tower Casuals memories, favorite recurring bits that we've had, etc. Please send them in to us. I'm dead serious. We have 2 more episodes after this. This is episode 97. We have 98, then 99. We want number 100 on Bungie Day to just be this big celebration. And yes, I have things together for a giveaway. We're going to do it. I've got some emblems to give away. And I will go ahead and tell you guys, I will figure out a way to do an entry for it. But I'm going to give away one of the Grimoire anthologies. I just need to order it and get it physically shipped to me.
I think we're also going to try to do that show live on Twitch too.
Yep, we're going to try. We're nailing down who's going to be here. I reached out to a few people today, get some of our old favorites from the LFG back who haven't been able to be here in quite a while. We just wanted to be a fun. It's going to be a fun show. We're not talking business that night. I don't think Solstice has launched at that point. I hope it hasn't. Otherwise, we're going to have to talk about Solstice on episode 100, and I don't want to be in a bad mood. So
that sounds like a bad time.
Sounds like a real bad time. But it's going to be great. Come on through. We'll have more firm details for you when episode 98 goes up next week. We're going to try and nail things down this week, I think.
You can find me at IamCoreyHT on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow Tower Casuals on Twitter and Instagram at Tower Casuals. Get us your questions, get us your thoughts, everything Josh just said. If you listen on iTunes or Spotify, leave us a 5-star rating or review. It really helps us out. Only 3 more weeks till episode 100. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
But like, when in the timeline is Kit Harington in the show?
This would be a